to also present the current state of a business. So, what's a process? Now, a process is a set of activities executed stepwisely to achieve a goal. Of course, as we have seen, a process can be internal to an organization or span across multiple organizations. The process model can be constructed on multiple levels, each of which can be aligned with different stakeholder points of view. These levels exist to progressively decompose a complex process into component processes, with each level providing increasing detail and precision. Now, let me say this. There are people that work as business analysts and they work with processes mainly. They're called business process analysts. That's a it's also there are a lot of guys who do that in Nigeria. They work basically with business processes. Guys who are process management experts, they work in manufacturing, they work in oil and gas, they work in telco, work in IT, work in insurance, work in banking, work in fintech. These are guys who work with processes. And in the world of a business process analyst, these these are these are things that are very expedient. Understanding how to decompose processes, how to construct processes on many multiple levels, how to align processes to different stakeholder points of view. Let me give you an example of a process that is external to an organization that spans across multiple organizations. Let's say you're a bank. Now, banks in Nigeria are regulated by the CBN. There are certain processes that are internal to a bank, like I said, gave earlier on an example where you want to apply to a loan. Is almost totally internal to a bank. But when you now talk about getting forex from the CBN, I don't know if anybody here has worked in banking. There are lots of processes that cut across the local bank and the regulating bodies. So how do you apply for forex? What conditions have to be met? How do you route your request to CBN? You treat how do you treat compliance issues by the CBN? How do you do all of that? So this is a process. There are processes in that regard that are external to your organization. So business process models are not only internal to your own organization, you can also have them cutting across multiple organizations. Imagine, for instance, government agencies in Lagos. Now, I want to believe all government agencies in Lagos pay tax to the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. There are processes to doing that, and all the pastors in government will have to follow a certain process to remit the taxes, the coffers of the state or the federal government. The processes that they undertake are external to them. See, if you are building a house, for instance, in Lagos, I know you have to get someone to design, then you need to get some sort of approval, some testing on the soil, get approval for the kind of structure you want to build. Then I think you may also need of course, apart from the documentation for the land, you also need to maybe take a sample of your concrete, to the Ministry of Land, all of that. So those are processes that are not actually they're not internal to you as a person building the house. They're not internal to you as a business owner who wants to build something for your office, but they're external to you. So processes can be internal or external. So now, what do we use process models for? The process model can be used to describe the context of the solution or part of the solution. See, the easiest way to understand what a business does or what an organization does is to have a model. Somebody says they work with an insurance company or a travel agency. You can use a business process to describe the context or the value that they deliver, they provide. Now, the model can also be used to describe what actually happens or is desired to happen during the process. Now, let me speak briefly to current states and future states in. Don't forget, we talked about, we're talking about strategy analysis, and under that, we're talking about current state analysis, which is as is analysis. We're analyzing how the business is, how the project is, how the initiative is. Now we say that the previous model is used to describe what actually happens. In that context, what actually happens can refer to as is, the current state initiative, or is desired to happen. What is desired to happen may be referring to the future states. Now we'll still talk about future state analysis. We haven't gotten there yet, but we'll get there in a bit. Now, what is desired to happen is a future state analysis. So the process model is used for to model the current state. And let me say this so that we're on the same page. Now, when you're carrying out strategy analysis for an initiative, for a business, for an idea, it makes a lot of sense to use the same techniques that you've employed in this analysis for your future states and analysis. So what I mean by that is if you have used the business model canvas or the SWOT analysis, or using the press analysis to analyze your current state, you want to use those same techniques to analyze your future states. So you can have some sort of you can have some sort of some sort of mirror. It's easy for you to carry out comparative analysis. Compare that with using SWOT analysis to analyze your current state, then using the business model canvas for your future states. It will be difficult for you to go back and forth, to transition between your current and future state in your mind, and come up with appropriate change strategies. So bear this in mind that when you are doing strategy and analysis, it is standard practice to make use of the same techniques for your current state analysis and your future state analysis. Now, models can also provide an understandable description of a sequence of activities to an external observer. They also provide a visual to accompany a text description and provides a basis for just an analysis. So what this means is if you have a process model, it can also be because you want to further analyze the process. So you want to have a visual. Then it's easy for you to tinker, turn it around, to turn it inside out, then to add to improve upon the process. Now, what I just said, a business analysis can use a process model to define the current states, the process, known as the assist model, the potential future states, known as the to be model, then the context of a process in form of a context diagram or use case diagrams. Those are also techniques we'll get there in the future. So, what are the elements of process analysis? Number one, identify and scope the process. Number two, identify gaps and areas to improve. Number three, identify the root cause of whatever gaps you found. Number four, generate and evaluate improvement options. Now, we will not dwell on the last two because those last two are also intertwined with some other technique I will choose in the future. So we'll focus on the first two, identify and scope the process, the identify gaps and areas to improve. I will talk more about identifying and scoping the process here. Again, we are focusing on techniques. This is our third technique. I hope somebody will write this down. I was having a discussion with somebody over the week. I said that as a business analyst, you want to be familiar with an upward of 10 techniques for a start. We're in an industry where we have more than 50 techniques, or we have different variations of those techniques. You want to be very familiar with them. But by the time you're done with this program, you want to be able to use 10 techniques very well. You want to be able to efficiently deploy 10 techniques in carrying out your activities for business analyst. Now, so this is an example of a simple process. Leave request. I'm sure you all know what a leave is. Of course, you all work in industry. Step one, you request leave. Step two, somebody reviews your leave request. Step three, somebody approves your leave request. Now we can and we should make this more complicated by adding some more detail. Of course, because in the real world, things are never this simple. I'm sure you know that. So how do we make it more complicated? Example will be request a leave. We want to scope that request by your units, by your department, by your job grade, about the type of leave. Is it a sick leave? Is it compassionate leave? Is it study leave? You know, then we want to also review. It says scope by eligibility for review and reviewer job grades. What I mean by that is this: you want to also uh, draw the process in such a way that it shows whether or not the leave request is eligible for review. So in other words, let's say in your organization, leave requests can only be entertained in the first week of the month, unless it's an emergency leave or compassionate leave. So what it means is if you send any leave request from the second week of the month, it will not be reviewed in that month. You see, so you can also scope it by that. Then scope by reviewer job grade. What's the job grade of the guy that reviews your leave? Must it be your functional manager, or does it have to be your N plus two, your N plus three, whatever? Or can you even have a case where your peers review your leave request? Because I remember one of the companies I work with, there's a leave plan at the beginning of every financial year, and it is not so much as if your boss is reviewing. It's a joint review. So you are five guys in a team. Mr. Chichinda says he wants to go for Christmas holiday from the 20th of December to the 1st of January. Madam Ifendu says the same thing. Then Mr. Damilola says, you know what? I want to travel between the 1st of March, the 15th of March. Then Prince Adefila says, no, mine is 1st of April to middle April. Now, you now review jointly as a team to say, okay, December, we cannot afford to have two people go away in December. So please, Madam Ifendu, your December leave, can you move it to first week in January? Yes, you have public holidays on Christmas Day here, but that 10, 12-day leave you're looking at, let's move it. Or Mr. Chichinga says, you know what, ladies first. Let's leave Madam Ifendu to have the leave days. I will stay back, then I will go on leave. I'll go to the village from the 1st of January. You see, now that is not actually a review being done by your line manager. The team is reviewing by themselves, or So, Mr. Damilola, who says he wants to go on a leave in March. Now, let's say March is the most critical time of the year for your business. Let's say March is the end of the financial year. It's usually a lot, March, April, usually a lot of things to do. You can decide to say nobody goes on leave in March and April because March and April are very critical for us. Yeah. So this is a joint, to review jointly. So you see, now we can capture all of these things in a process model. Imagine how complicated a leave request process would be if you capture all of these things. In actual fact, that is what obtains in the real world. The processes are not this simple. Then another thing is to scope by approval or rejection. So the decision is, look at the example here, is just approve leave request, but they want to also scope by approval or rejection. So leave rejected or leave request approved, and literally even states the reason. Now, we're spending so much time looking at the techniques because these are the things that you need to deliver on your role as a business analyst. Yes, you need to understand the fundamentals, you're here to do that, but the techniques are very important. I recall that I said this about a week ago that when we begin to talk about techniques, we might spend 3 hours working on just one technique, you know, and it's important. It's not time wasted. We need to get a good handle on these techniques. So, before I do, let me try to let's go and diagram. For those of you who did not come to class last week, we have a diagramming tool that we now work with. So what we do now is, let me take you there. So the tool is called Lucid Spark. Of course, Lucid is just go to Lucid. You'll find it. Interestingly, I got a message from Google, during the week saying that Google is going to retire their products, Jamboard. Some of you know Jamboard. This product that Google has. where you can scribble on the screen, you can illustrate. Google is retiring that product, and they are merging with Lucid, this application. And so I think and two other ones, Lucid and two other ones. Interestingly, I've been using Lucid for a while now, for maybe for years, when it was not popular. But Google is about to retire their product and adopt Lucid. Isn't that interesting? So maybe the guys are, I don't know, maybe I'm not sure the product was bought, but so Lucid, you want to also have something like this. Lucid and Miro, those are perhaps the most popular ones. You need them to diagramming tools. Very important. So now, this is what I'm showing you is not what I want to show you. Confirm you can see my screen, please. Just unmute and confirm you can see my screen. Please, I'm not
Yeah,
being.
firm.
Okay, good. So this is not what I want to show you. We'll get here later. This is another thing entirely. So let me go. Let's. So we want to draw a process. This might be where we end the class because it's going to take a while, but then it's worth it. Now, so this is Lucid app. You can download. You can just it's a web app. You don't have to download. So come on, Lucid app, register. You can use it for free for as long as you want to, but if there are restrictions, but then it works